Hello everybody, welcome to the live streaming from YouTube tonight, and welcome to Joanne and Connor. I know you're already on here, so it's a pleasure to have you here, and I've got a few topics to cover tonight. I am going to just stream directly from YouTube for the Q&A from now on, because also the YouTube viewers can watch, and it goes to all communities, the Q&A. So first topic this week, I was asking, what do you do to retain clients in the barbershop? And there was a few good answers came up. And one that I was really hoping to avoid, and nobody mentioned it, so that was great, but I am going to talk on it a little bit anyway. So I see we've got a few more people joining. How are you doing? Welcome. Thanks for joining. We're just talking about how to retain clients in the barbershop right now. So let's take a look at the comment from Mike Wilkie here. He says, a good way to retain clients in the barbershop, providing an experience for the customer, making sure to do a great consultation and ask proper question, align yourself with the customer, be friendly, stay professional, care about your customer, ask them if they want something to drink, water, coffee, tea, or other beverages, make sure your station's clean, tools are clean, chair is clean, mirror's clean. Basically, everything needs to look neat and clean, and some good tunes in the shop, right? So good music, whatever you listen to. If you listen to something banging, maybe it's not right for your customers. You might want it a bit more chilled than that. But Mike's covered some really good points, right? I think core to retaining clients is actually the service that you provide. So that's really important. And especially if you're a learner barber, you want to provide the absolute best service that you can manage. What can you do? Because you may not have all the skills yet. Okay, there might be skills to learn. There might be things that you're trying to master and you haven't mastered it yet, but the things you can do are provide good service. A cup of coffee is a really easy one. If somebody's sitting waiting, maybe there's family members sitting waiting, you could offer them a coffee. Saying hello, and I always say this, like when your client comes through the door, say hello to them by name. Okay, so when John comes through the door, you say, hey, John, how are you? It's good to see you. Or, you know, in some places you say, hello, sir, or senor, or wherever you are. You might want to address them formally, but make sure that they get a smile and they get their name and they feel recognized when they come through the door. And when they sit down, ask them about themselves and how they're getting on and how's their day been, and a bit of small talk. So that's important. And what are they going to see around you? They're going to see what your station looks like. Do they want to see someone else's hair all over the tools and all over the floor and all around them? Probably not. So if you can get the place nice and tidy, spick and span before the client comes in, that's a good environment for them to sit down in, and they're going to like that. So that's useful. Now, the thing that I wanted everybody to avoid, and I was so glad nobody mentioned it, was a loyalty system, loyalty cards in the barbershop. I've seen lots of barbershops go down the route of a loyalty card where you get maybe a 5th or a 6th or a 7th haircut free for 6 haircuts. This is a terrible idea. It's going to be the most painful experience ever when you give away that free haircut. And you need to think, are these people coming to you because your haircuts are rubbish, but they want a free haircut? Is that what is motivating them to come to you? I doubt it. People won't scrimp on their haircut. You know, they're not going to say, right, I'm going to get a rubbish haircut just so I can get a free one. They're coming to you because they like what you do. Okay, so there's a way to implement this. Implementing a loyalty system is a way for you to make a better income as a barber. So instead of offering something like every 7th haircut's free, we need to upsell what we're doing on the 7th visit. Okay, so on your 7th visit, you get a free hot towel shave if you offer something like that, or you get a free shoulder massage, or a free threading, free face mask. Look at the services that you offer in your shop. Okay, and if there's something there that you think you could sell to a client, you could upsell to them, okay, but they've never tried it, this is where a loyalty system really works, because you can say, hey, on your 7th visit, we're going to offer you, well, you know, you could have a card that you stamp. We're going to offer you a free hot towel shave if you would like. If it's not what the client would like, maybe another service you could offer as a free service to get them to try that free service, whatever that may be. So that's a really good way to implement a loyalty system where you're not losing out. What you're doing is you're upselling a service that they might use in the future, which ultimately makes you more revenue. Now, if you're a learner barber, if you're just learning and you've got like a little hidden skill there, like maybe you learned how to do threading, and we were talking about this in the online community, threading something you can learn in an hour, right? If you can do that, then that's something you can upsell that makes you busier with the clients that you have got. Okay, so those clients that you currently have, how can you make more money out of them? Well, you can upsell other services to them. Another potential upsell is products, and I talk about that quite a lot as well. You might want to offer a free product to someone if you think it's going to be worth it. If you think this person's going to benefit from a free product, they're going to benefit from using this type of product, but maybe they're on the fence and they don't want to buy it. Well, that's a good way to get them to try it, and then from that point forward, you might have a regular sale on that particular product with that client. You've got to weigh that up. I mean, there's now cost involved in giving something away for free, but it might ultimately make you more revenue further down the line. So there's that. So that covers loyalty. Let's take a look at another comment. And this came from Hendy Yusuf. Should I change my job temporarily? He's working in a barber shop. It's his dream. He's faced with the fact that he needs more money. Meanwhile, he only has a few clients. And it's difficult for me to meet some needs. I'm thinking about whether to go back to my old job as a courier. It might be a little easier to make money before he's a qualified barber. Okay, interesting. This is the position that you're going to find yourself in, and he's not the only person to say this. So, yeah, right, as a learner, you have to balance up this moment where you don't know whether or not your skills are going to pay. And it's like any qualification, okay? You need to build up, similar to the way somebody would in university. They might have a part-time job while they're going through their studies, and you may be doing another job, and you might be in the position that you could reduce what you're doing. I mean, working as a courier, you could do that on the side whilst doing as much barbering as possible. And then there'll be a moment where it kind of just switches over into the trade that you want to be doing, and you have enough clientele. The problem is that clients build up over months. Okay, so a regular client's only going to come back possibly 1 month after you saw them. Okay, so in your first month as a barber, let's say it's very lean and you only get 1 to 2 clients a day, and that's what you're going to pick up. Say you pick up 1 to 2 a day. In the following month, you now have 2 to 4 per day. And then the following month, it could be 4 to 6 per day, and so on. So it could take a number of months before who came in and tried you for the first time then comes back and tries your service again. But it does build up, and it just snowballs, and to the point that you're a very busy barber. So you will get there, Hendy. You will build up that trade. But I would recommend, you've got to pay the bills first. And if the courier job is what's paying the bills right now, keep doing it until you have the skills. You're in the community. If you come across to the premium community, the 1 Minute Barber Premium, there's loads of tutorials in there that will help you. I'm doing regular live masterclasses every week. And anyone watching on YouTube, there is a link down below for that. Now, let's go on to Vicky's comment. Vicky, here we go. Uncalled for clipper drama, which as soon as I read this, it made me laugh, right? Is it just me, or do barbers like to make a big deal about clippers? A clipper is a clipper. You, the barber, adjust your talent to working with different clippers. You either know how to use one or you don't. Hilarious, right? I mean, uncalled for clipper drama. Fair enough. You know what? I actually get Vicky's point here. There's a big fuss made over clippers in the industry. We get so excited about this clipper or that, or this blade or that. To be honest, if you have good skills, you could cut hair with wallpaper scissors, you know, or a really cheap clipper. It's not going to be very easy. It's not going to be much fun, but you know what you're doing. It might take you longer than usual. But I think what she's saying is, you know, the small differences from one clipper to the next shouldn't be too much of a concern. What should be a concern is your skill level. You know, your skill level comes first and foremost, and a high skill level is way more important than whether you have a steel blade or a DLC blade or whatever other kind of invention of the same blade has just come out. I mean, it's they reinvent the wheel all the time with clippers, and I get Vicky's concern there. Recently, I reviewed the T-Pod Play, which I quite liked, and I've been using it regularly. I think it's a really good clipper. I also love the Wall Senior, and I find that I'm using the T-Pod Play more, but because I have it lying there, I'm choosing it, right? And I have probably my least favorite clipper is the Wall Magic Clip. It just feels so weak. Like I don't like it. When you have a Wall Senior and a Wall Magic Clip, and then the thing is I have them on charge, right? So if the Senior runs out, then I have to use the Magic Clip. And I'm so disappointed by it. It feels like a second-rate clipper, in my opinion. I know a lot of people like the Magic Clip, but you know, to Vicky's point, there is differences with clippers. Some of them it's battery life, and I find with the Wall Magic Clip, it's like it's dying a slow, horrible death. Every time you use it, the battery fades down, and it's like, oh my goodness, spray it with some clipper side to see if it'll speed up, you know, and then give me something, you know, just speed up, and it doesn't. So definitely, if you find a clipper that doesn't die, it has a sharp blade, it's comfortable in your hand, and it cuts hair well, those are the main things. I mean, actually, sorry, just on that point, we also talked about the Andis Cordless Master, which Connor Evans was also talking about in his Hotheads Media show. If you don't follow Hotheads Media, by the way, on YouTube, you've got to, if you're a barber. Great channel for barber news. But he was talking about that, and it's like a box, right? Like the casing of the Andis Master, even though it's a great clipper, for some reason they've made it quite square. It's not very ergonomic in your hand. So good clipper, but just not very well designed ergonomically, in my opinion. Okay, let's do another question. And by the way, if anyone has any questions, throw them in, and I'll answer them. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is just about what I'm doing in the 1 Minute Barber community. Now, if you enjoy the tutorials that I put out, the free tutorials, the stuff on YouTube, etc., in the 1 Minute Barber Academy, the Premium Academy, I've put a lot of tutorials in there, and I'm trying to refresh it with content weekly as well. And it's all the kind of in-depth tutorials I like to make where it's visual learning. You're seeing animations of how you would pick up hair angles, and we discuss a lot of stuff. And there's also a lot of live masterclasses that are going to be in there as well. That's a regular thing. What else is in there? Tomorrow night, Coffee with Mike. You can join me on screen. We can chat. I'm going to use Riverside, so hopefully we can just bring some people in and we can chat. We can talk all things barbering or anything at all. So that's tomorrow night. And the other thing was for members, because you kind of gain levels in the community, in the premium community, there is a cost to the community, but when you get to level 7 from this point forward, it's free. So anyone who gets to level 7 gets it for free anyway. So that is my announcement there. Hotheads Media. Do I have a favorite clipper or go-to trimmer or mini clipper? Yes, I do. Yes. Oh, well, recently, so I for years, I've just loved the Andis T outliner. I like the tightness of the teeth on the blade. And I'll tell you a story about the Andis T outliner. I remember when I first got it, I was so looking forward to getting an Andis T outliner. I knew it was the trimmer for me. The day I got it, I was presenting on stage at the Scottish Barber Show, and I was about to give a presentation to a heap of barbers, and I didn't have another trimmer because I knew I was going to buy this Andis T outliner at the show. And this is a criticism of Andis here, right? So the lid comes off like that, and when you take the lid off, the clipper is sitting there on top of the box, right? So I pull the lid up like that, and as I lift it off, there's like suction on the lid, and it kind of like flew off, and I watched the clipper, and it was like slow motion. I just seen it falling, tumbling, and it just landed on the floor. I tried to catch it with my foot. And I could have cried because this was £145. What's that in dollars? Like $180. And I picked it up and the blade was snapped in half just as I'm about to give a presentation on how to cut hair on stage. So I was like, right, I'm going to have to do my trimming with a clipper here, which is less than ideal because if, clippers, the teeth on the clippers are so wide. Thankfully, the company that sells Andis blades, they were watching what went on, and somebody brought a blade over to me, and we changed it, and I was really grateful to them. And they never charged me for the blade for my mistake. So, but I love the Andis T outliner. That said, on broken blades, I've just broken my second Andis T outliner blade, and I'm using now a Suprint trimmer from the Suprint Pro range. It's excellent. It's a really good trimmer. In recent years, Suprint have sent out quite a lot of stuff to me. We had like a little bit of a working relationship. I was doing videos for them. Initially, I didn't really, I was testing their stuff out, but in my opinion, some of it was domestic level. It wasn't the best. And I spoke to them. They kept coming out with clippers that were like, it would be called something like they'd say, we're sending you out the trimmer HX-V17C or something, And I said to them, look, do you think you should maybe have some better names for these? Because what's the point in this big long code that you've got after the clipper, the trimmer or whatever? And they've actually come out, they now give their clippers names. I don't know if that was my advice or they've realized, but so I wasn't that keen on taking their stuff because they were making a lot of domestic clippers. But then they started this pro range, which is actually quite good. In fact, it's very good. The last lot of clippers they sent me, I did do a review on them. I used them on the 2-block haircut tutorial, and they are actually really good. I use them. I still use them now, and I use the little trimmer that came with it. I wish I could remember the name, but if you find the 2-block tutorial, it's in there, and if I can find the name, I'll mention it in my next video. So I do like them. What else has been happening? Last couple of things. If anyone wants to put in any more questions, just throw them in. But I filmed a haircut today that I'm really happy with. The guy reminded me of Doctor Strange, and I said that to him. I said, "You look like Doctor Strange," and he said, "It's funny you say that. People tell him that all the time because he's got like the kind of the grey and the wavy hair, and he works at a hospital as well. So I don't know if he's a doctor, but he fits the bill." So I've got that tutorial coming out. That's going to go into the premium community. On YouTube, what else is happening? So what we're thinking of doing, the whole reason we made the free community was that we wanted to show everybody the kind of tutorials, what we do, how it would work, how learning would work. It's more in depth in the premium community, but we're also going to list the free content on YouTube as well, so that people on YouTube can see what we're up to as well. And we'll show you, how the progression, how we think about learning, and you can also just come straight from YouTube over to the community if you want to. But I think it's important because we reach a lot of people on YouTube, and it'll still be going into the free barber community as well. But For the main tutorials, the bulk, the live tutorials, the coffee with Mike, all that kind of stuff, that's all in the premium community. I'll be live there tomorrow night if you want to join me for a coffee and we can chat. I really would love to see some faces in there. And I've been enjoying the podcasts with members as well. Really good, because it's good to meet people in the industry, meet other barbers, meet people that are interested in the same topics I'm interested in, and sharing it with the rest of the community for others to see. So I have a couple of podcasts still to drop. One of them is with Mike Wilkie, who had the question at the start. The other's with Connor Evans, but Connor is going to drop it on Friday on his channel on Hot Heads Media, so check that out. Connor is a skilled barber. He runs the men's grooming company in Coventry, really cool place. And if you go to his channel, you'll find that there. So listen, I'll be back here next week. We're going to do this every week, and I will see you then. Until next week, good luck with your haircuts.